Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're gonna take a look at the second selection box for July. And boy, there are some really good Tsums in here. There are definitely gonna be some Tsums in here that you definitely wanna try to get, especially if you are looking for a good coin farmer. In this video, I will share with you my top 3 Tsums, as well as the list of all 12 of the Tsums, and I'm going to give you an individual breakdown on each of the Tsums. So you'll be able to see a demonstration of all the Tsums animation, what their ability does, and the coin earnings for each one of these. So let's get right into it and take a look at the 12 Tsums that are actually in this selection box. So the first one, if you could take a look at it, they already advertised for Gaston and Enchanted Cinderella. So you know that these two are going to be really good. So on top of the list, we have Gaston, Enchanted Cinderella, Rosetta, Peep, Jetpack Alien, young Jack Sparrow, and then for the next 6, we have Pirate Stitch, Rex, Jessie, Princess Aurora, Mother Gothel, and Woody. This selection box is definitely better than the first selection box, but the top 3 Tsums that you want to get in this particular selection box is Gaston, Enchanted Cinderella, and then my third favorite is Jetpack Alien. And let me tell you why. Gaston is one of the best coin farmers in the game. Some rank him as number 2, some rank him as number 1, some rank him as number 3. For me, I rank him as number 2. In terms of difficulty, he is actually relatively difficult to use. It's not necessarily very easy like Beast or Scar. So there is going to be a learning curve. If you want a very easy Tsum to use, the second one I would recommend would be Enchanted Cinderella. She is a burst Tsum, so she is very easy to use and gets you a pretty good amount of coins as well. And then finally, I like Jetpack Alien as my number 3. Jetpack Alien not only is a really fun Tsum to use, but his ability is very great for mission. His ability is really good for long chains and also clearing my Tsums and also generating bubbles as well, and you can customize which bubbles you need if you play smart. Jetpack Alien is also good for coins at skill level 6. He is a viable coin earner. Not the best of course, but if you have him at skill level 6, he is multifunctional. So for that reason, I did rate Jetpack Alien as skill level 6. There are other Tsums in this box that are good at skill level 6 that are good for coins. So overall, I think this selection box is definitely worth your investment in, especially Gaston is in this box. It's very rare to have a top 4 coin earner in a selection box, so this is your opportunity to grab a coin farmer that you've been waiting for. And if you're wondering on how to really use Gaston and how difficult it is to use Gaston, check out the video I have in the description below or in the top right hand corner, or just stay tuned for later in the video. I will do a demonstration of how difficult it is to use Gaston. But if you want to try to learn Gaston, check out the video in the description because I will walk you step by step on how to actually use the ability, and then you can determine if this is the right Tsum for you or not. If not, you might actually want to just invest in Enchanted Cinderella because she's a lot easier to use and also very fun. So let's get into it and take a look at the 12 Tsums individually. The first Tsum is Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, and the ability description is clears a horizontal line of Tsum Tsum and makes it rain Gaston for a short period of time. Gaston is one of the best Tsums in the game, and I definitely recommend you to try to get a copy of Gaston's if you don't have him yet. I would even go as far as recommending you to spend all of your coins this selection box to try to get as many copies of Gaston's as possible. He is one of the best coin farmers in the game, and it's very rare for Gaston to come around, so he probably comes back around once every single year, so it's pretty rare. And because he is one of the best coin farmers, your investment is going to be worth it in the end if you are able to get him to a pretty high skill level. And if you have him at skill level 6, he's definitely going to be one of the best coin farmers in the game. He's ranked number 2. The only one that beats him out is essentially Jedi Luke, so he is one of the best Tsums to use. Now, Gaston isn't necessarily the easiest Tsum to use. There is a very complicated strategy to it, but don't let that scare you away. Once you get the strategy down, it actually is manageable. Not the easiest Tsum to use, but it is manageable. So I did recently make a video on Gaston, specifically on this, on how to use Gaston to earn you a lot of coins. I'm going to leave it in the description below and also to the top right hand corner in this video. So click on that link if you are looking to see how to use Gaston to earn you a lot of coins. And with Gaston used properly, you should be getting more than 5,000 coins per game if you are doing it properly and not miss any Tsums. If you are someone who is very good at making chains and swiping very well, then Gaston is going to earn you a lot of coins. At the end of this gameplay, I did end up with 6,505 coins, so definitely a very good Tsum for coins. And this selection box overall has a lot of good Tsums for coins, so if you find it too difficult to use Gaston, there are other easier ones to get this month. Next, we have Enchanted Cinderella from the Cinderella series. And Enchanted Cinderella's ability is clears all Tsums in the center. I feel like they could have wrote this one a little bit better, because essentially what Enchanted Cinderella does is during her animation, not only does she clear the center but the bottom too. And it's actually in the silhouette of a dress. So if you look at it, it's more like a triangle, and it peeks out at the top and at the very bottom of the entire bottom screen essentially is clear. So it's more like a dress shape than anything. And one of the strategies to using Enchanted Cinderella is just make sure that before you activate the ability that the entire screen has a lot of zoom. So depending on what skill level you have, the triangle or the shape of the dress is going to vary in size. So the higher the skill level, the more it's going to clear. And for me right now, the gameplay you're watching is a skill level 6 Enchanted Cinderella. A majority of the screen will get cleared. The only places that doesn't get cleared is like the top left and the top right corner. So my strategy here is just to make sure that most of the screen is cleared, and maybe even make sure that there's no bubbles around, because the bubbles actually take up some space, which essentially lowers your chain count at the end, lowering your coin count. Enchanted Cinderella is my number 2, and the reason for that is she is the number 2 best Tsums to get in this selection box in terms of coins. So if you are struggling with Gaston or don't feel like you're going to be able to get the combos down for Gaston, then Enchanted Cinderella is a very good second option. So maybe if you're trying to get Gaston and end up with Enchanted Cinderella, that's okay, because Enchanted Cinderella is a very easy Tsum to use and also gets you a lot of coins as well. In this gameplay, I did get 4,046 coins, which is pretty close to what I got for Gaston. I mean, it is off by 2,000, but you gotta factor in how much less work you have to do when you're using Enchanted Cinderella compared to Gaston. And playing Enchanted Cinderella is very easy. You're just bursting bubbles and you just keep on going. So it's very easy. So I definitely recommend Enchanted Cinderella as well, which is why she's my number 2. Next, we have Rosetta from Disney Fairies. And the description for Rosetta is she will clear a vertical line of Tsum Tsum, and essentially it's as simple as that. She is a fairy, so during her animation she will be coming up like with flowers and stuff, and the blast radius is going to be down the middle, and it's going to be vertically. So as you see there, a lot of flowers will pop up and then the center area will get clear. One of the strategies to using Rosetta is just the center area where her burst is. Just make sure that there are a lot of Tsums there. And as you focus on the bottom left hand corner, if you see that your ability bar is starting to get full, you may want to just focus clearing on the left and the right side where the blast isn't. So that way you wouldn't have to really wait for the Tsums to drop and you can just spam the ability button. This gameplay is at skill level 3, so if you have Rosetta at a higher skill level, it is going to perform a lot better. But there are other Tsums out there that could be better, so that's why I didn't level up Rosetta. At the end of this gameplay for Rosetta, I did get 1,218 coins, so definitely below the 2,300 threshold that I typically bar it against. And the reason why I use 2,300 is that's the cost for the 5-4 as well as the coin boost. So because of that, I wouldn't recommend Rosetta in the selection box. Next, we have Bo Peep from Toy Story. And the ability description for Bo Peep is Bo Peeps with the cane appears. Bo Peeps clear surrounding Tsum Tsum when connected. So the ability here is during her animation, additional Bo Peeps will show up, and actually more like the current ones will become ones with canes. And all the ones that have canes, you could connect them, and you don't necessarily need to touch each other. They are all connectable at that point. So once you activate the ability, regardless of what the distance is between all the Bo Peeps, you could connect them all. And then after that, all the Bo Peeps will clear surrounding Tsums as well. She will swing her cane around and burst surrounding Tsums, which is pretty cool. So one of the strategies to using Bo Peep is before you activate the ability, just make sure that there are a lot of Bo Peeps in different areas of the screen. You may want some on the top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right. This way it will clear a majority of the screen. And the strategy here is just to make sure that during the animation, you connect all of the Bo Peeps before you let go. So you want to maximize your clear ability, and because you don't need to connect them in a way where they have to be next to each other, You just want to take your time to make sure that they're all connected. Now I am only using Bo Peep at skill level 3, so I think that if you get Bo Peep to skill level 4 and above, she could be viable for coins. For this gameplay at skill level 3, I got 1,777 coins, which is below the 2,300 threshold, which is why I wouldn't recommend Bo Peep below skill level 3. But I am pretty close to leveling her up to skill level 4, so I might actually just spend some coins here to get her to skill level 4 at least. I think that Bo Peep is going to be one that's worth investing in. I'm actually a really big fan of the Toy Story series, so Bo Peep is definitely one of the Tsums I'm going to try to get. Next, we have Jetpack Alien from Toy Story, and the ability description for Jetpack Alien is spawns aliens in a diagonal line. And in this gameplay, I do have Jetpack Alien at skill level 6 already, and Jetpack Alien is my number 3 Tsum out of this selection box. And the reason for that is Jetpack Alien is really good for two things. Not only is Jetpack Alien good for coins, but Jetpack Alien is going to be good for missions as well. Sometimes we get those missions where we have to clear a lot of my Tsums or make a lot of long chains, and this is perfect for that. Because Jetpack Alien will replicate its own self onto the screen, it will make those like clear my Tsums missions a lot easier. Sometimes you get those missions where you have to clear 200 my Tsums per game, and that could become a little difficult if you don't have the right Tsums. And in this case, Jetpack Alien just makes copies of himself across the screen, which makes it very easy for you to pass that mission. Another mission that Jetpack Alien is really good for is those missions where you have to make a really long chain. And because Jetpack Alien generates a lot of copies of himself on the screen, you might want to just take a little bit of time and wait for the right opportunities to make a really long chain. Typically, the chain that you could expect is anywhere between 25 to 32 if you are just playing really fast. But if you take your time with it, you could actually clear majority of the screen and turn them all into Jetpack Aliens. So you could get chains of well above 36 and above. And if you are someone who's really good at chaining abilities, you could get the entire screen, which is 42, to turn into Jetpack Alien. So that's really why Jetpack Alien is my number 3 Tsum out of these 12, is because Jetpack Alien is really good for coins, good for missions, and has a really cool ability as well. And also Jetpack Alien is also free. I don't know if you guys know, but if you invite your friends to play this game, you could actually get free copies of Jetpack Alien, so that might be something you want to look into. At the end of this gameplay at skill level 6, I did end up with 2,732 coins, so well above what I am expecting. So Jetpack Alien is a very viable Tsum for coins. Next, we have young Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. The ability description is clears all Tsum in the direction the compass needle is pointing to when you tap it. So take a look at the screen here, the compass will show up and the needle will kind of point in a direction. And after you tap the screen, that's when you will release the angle of where the Tsum is gonna be bursting. So one of the strategy is you want to make sure that the angle of where your burst is going to clear a lot of Tsum. So if you have gaps in, let's say like right here, down the center, you may not necessarily want to go vertically. You want to do it off angle where you know that there's going to be Tsums, maximizing the chain ability. I do have young Jack Sparrow at skill level 2, so the skill range is relatively small. If you have young Jack Sparrow at a higher skill level, it should be better, but young Jack Sparrow isn't really that great. But I do know that there are a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean fans out there, and there aren't really that many Pirates of the Caribbean Tsum, so this is one of the few that we have. So if you are a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, then yes, definitely get this one. But other than that, you shouldn't, or you don't necessarily need to try to get young Jack Sparrow, because he's really not going to be useful for missions or for coins or for bingo, so you could probably pass. For this gameplay at skill level 3, I only got 945 coins. So for this gameplay, I'm actually losing coins, so for that reason, I wouldn't recommend young Jack Sparrow for this selection box. Next, we have Pirate Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. And the ability description is clears a vertical line of Tsum Tsum. And this one is kind of cool. I really like Pirate Stitch's animation. I like the fact that there is some sort of randomness to it, that you don't know where it's actually going to land. So let me show you right here what his animation is. Essentially, he will juggle these knives and then they will fall down. Typically, this is 3 different vertical lines, and these 3 vertical lines are different. They're not going to land in the same position every single time. There's also no way of manipulating it. so there's really no way of preparing where they're gonna fall. So the best strategy really for this is just make sure that the screen has a lot of zooms overall and hope for the best. See, in that case, the animation right here, it on the left hand side only got 7 chains because it was falling towards the left. You can't really control it in this case. There is some kind of random factor to it. So because of that, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you could get really long chains, like right there, I got 33. Sometimes you only get 7 or 12, and you might get 2 different chains because they're not touching each other. So there is some random factor to it. But for this gameplay here in particular, at skill level 4 for Pirate Stitch, I did get 1,505 coins. So at skill level 4, not really that great for coins. Next, we have Rex from Toy Story. And the ability description for Rex is that clears random Tsum Tsum. And really, essentially, it's as simple as that. Rex will kind of run across the screen and stomp a bunch of random Tsums on the screen. And as you can see from the ability description is it clears 5 to 6. And what that is the burst area is 5 to 6. So not only does it kind of run across, there's actually 5 to 6 foot stomps on the ground. And the foot stomps from Rex is where the burst is. So there's really no way of preparing for this. Typically the stomps are kind of on the center horizontal level. So I would say like just prepare that area to have zooms. But really, Rex isn't one of those zooms where you need to get to a high level or prepare. It's kind of fun to have and fun to use. I definitely enjoyed using Rex because the animation is very quick and it goes by very fast. You don't have to wait for it. It just finishes, because sometimes like you have those animation that just takes like 5 seconds to get through and has a low charge up time. So you run through a lot of animation. See, Rex, 2 seconds, maybe even less than that, and it's already done. The unfortunate thing about Rex is that he's really not that great for coins, not that great for abilities. So for that reason, Rex isn't necessarily a good Tsum for this game. I am using Rex at skill level 6 and I only got 700 coins for Rex. So it's really disappointing for a skill level 6 Tsum, a burst Tsum, to only get 700 coins. So for that reason, I wouldn't recommend trying to max out Rex. Next we have Jessie from Toy Story. And the ability description for Jessie is clear Tsum Tsum in the center, tap and hold to clear more Tsum Tsum. So there is a small strategy for this. When you activate her ability, just make sure that you tap and hold her lasso and make sure it becomes as big as possible before you let go. And actually, you don't even need to let go. Really just tap and hold until it bursts, and it will burst at the maximum size. So the lasso will grow as you continue to tap and hold, and once it gets to the max, it will burst. So one of the things I do like about Jessie's ability is that you don't have to wait or really plan for it. Even if you have gaps in between, the time doesn't stop during the animation. So what that means is the Tsums will continue to drop. So even if you activate it and there's a big gap at the bottom like I do right there, it will fill itself up because the game is still going. And that's actually one of the things that you need to caution, is because the clock is running, you want to make sure you play as fast as possible. And once you activate the ability, just start tapping and holding the center of the screen. You don't have to wait until the lasso shows up. Essentially just tap and hold the middle when you see Jessie's face, and then the lasso will grow as the ability runs through. For this particular gameplay, Jessie at skill level 6, I did get 2,364 coins, so pretty good. In this selection box, there are a lot of good Tsums for coins, so definitely would try to get Jessie if you can, but definitely prioritize the other ones. You definitely don't need Jessie to skill level 6. There are better ways to spending your skill tickets. Next, we have Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. And the ability description is Prince Phillips appear for a limited time and can be connected to Princess Aurora to clear Tsum Tsums for big points. So this is one of those Tsums where it's not going to earn you a lot of coins, but it could be used to earn you really high score. But the reason why I'm not going to get a high score here is because I don't have her at a pretty high level. I only have her at level 7, but if you have these Tsums at higher levels, they can actually earn you some decent amount of points. I typically don't play this game to try to get a lot of points, so for that reason I don't really necessarily care for these type of Tsums. But I do know that there are some players out there that strive to get a high score. So if you are one of those players, then Princess Aurora could be a viable Tsums for that. At skill level 6, her ability does last 6.5 seconds, so that is a decent amount of time to connect all Princess Aurora and also Prince Philip. So Princess Aurora at skill level 6, for this gameplay I got 1,977 coins. Not that great for coins, but could be good for points. Next we have Mother Gothel from Tangled. And the ability description from Mother Gothel is time slows down and you'll score more points for a short while. So unfortunately, Mother Gothel is one of the worst Tsums that is in this selection box. In her animation, essentially the time will be very, very slow. And also during this animation, your points will be times 4. Because I do have Mother Gothel at skill level 6. So unless you are someone who plays to get a high score, Mother Gothel is not one you need. And if you are looking for a Tsum that gets you a lot of coins, that's definitely the opposite of Mother Gothel. She's actually the worst one in the selection box for coins. For this particular gameplay that you're watching right now, I am playing her at skill level 6, and I only ended up with 344 coins, which is really, really low. So for that reason, I hope that you don't get Mother Gothel, unless again you are trying to get a Tsum that's good for a score. There are better ones, even Princess Aurora is better than Mother Gothel. And finally, we have Woody from Toy Story. And the ability description for Woody is clear Tsum Tsums in the center with a sheriff's badge. A little bit more about the animation is when you activate his ability, the sheriff badge will show up in the center, and that circle area will get burst. So one of the strategies to using Woody is just make sure that center area where the badge is going to have a lot of Tsums. I am playing at skill level 6, so that circle is going to be a little bit bigger than usual. So depending on what skill level you have him at, that size is going to be different. And I just realized one thing is that this selection box had a lot of Toy Story Tsums. So if you are a Toy Story fan, then this selection box is definitely for you. There's like so many Toy Story Tsums in the selection box. I don't think we've had one like this in a long time. For Woody, at the end of the gameplay, I got 1,860 coins. So Woody isn't necessarily one of those Tsums where you need to get for coins, but it is a pretty fun Tsum to use, especially if you don't want to use a Tsum that requires a lot of thinking. So get Woody if you want an easy Tsum to use and like Toy Story. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you found it useful in determining which Tsums to get. Again, I really encourage you guys to try to spend your coins this month on this selection box because there are a lot of good Tsums. Even if you don't get Gaston to skill level 6, there are still other good Tsums like Peep, and then you have Jetpack Alien, and you also have Enchanted Cinderella, which gets you a lot of coins as well. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and if you found this video helpful in any way on deciding if you want to invest in the selection box or not, or if you just enjoy the Tsum Tsum content, please consider scrolling down and giving this video a thumbs up, and also hitting the subscribe button for more Tsum Tsum content. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.